There are thinkers who explain the world, and there are thinkers who explain why the world feels the way it does. Carl Jung belonged to the second kind. He was not interested in fixing symptoms. He wanted to know what dreams were trying to say, why myths repeat themselves across centuries, and why the human soul seems to fracture the moment it is asked to become normal. Jung did not ask, "How do we become happy?" He asked something far more unsettling. What happens to the parts of us we abandon in order to survive? Freud believed the unconscious was a basement of repressed desires. Jung believed it was an ancient city. Beneath your thoughts, beneath your habits, beneath your carefully constructed identity, there is something older than your childhood. Jung called it the unconscious, but not as a void. It is alive. It dreams. It remembers. And most importantly, it speaks in symbols. When you dream of falling, when you feel irrational dread, when certain stories or characters grip you without reason, that is not randomness. That is the unconscious knocking. Most people spend their lives trying to silence that knock. Jung believed that was the beginning of neurosis. Jung's most disturbing insight was also his most honest. You are not only what you know about yourself, you are also what you deny. The shadow is everything you were told not to be. Anger you swallowed, ambition you hid, cruelty you disowned, even talents you were shamed for. The shadow does not disappear when ignored. It waits, and then it leaks. In sudden rage, in envy, in self-sabotage, in the quiet pleasure of judging others. Jung warned, the more unconscious the shadow, the darker it becomes. We don't become dangerous because we are evil. We become dangerous because we refuse to see ourselves whole. To Jung, morality without self-knowledge was hypocrisy. Light without shadow was blindness. If these ideas matter to you, if you feel less alone while listening, you can quietly support Phi through Patreon as a way of keeping this space alive. The link is in the channel description. Before the shadow comes the mask. Jung called it the persona, the version of you that learned how to be acceptable. Your job voice, your social smile, your "I'm fine." The persona is not fake. It is necessary, but becomes lethal when mistaken for the self. Many people die without ever removing it. They confuse performance for purpose, approval for meaning, adaptation for authenticity. Jung believed modern life rewarded personas and punished souls. And the longer the mask stays on, the more the psyche revolts. Burnout, depression, emptiness without a name. Not because something is wrong with you, but because something essential has been left behind. Why does the hero's journey never die? Why do gods, tricksters, mothers, warriors, and tyrants keep returning? Jung's answer was radical. They are not invented. They are remembered. He called them archetypes. Patterns of meaning embedded in the collective unconscious. Not images, but forces. The mother, the father, the hero, the wise old man, the child, the trickster. These shapes appear in myths, religions, films, dreams, and ideologies, because the psyche uses them to understand existence. When societies lose myth, they don't become rational. They become possessed. Jung saw political extremism, mass hysteria, and blind obedience as archetypes erupting without awareness. The gods do not disappear. They migrate. Jung did not believe life's purpose was happiness. He believed it was wholeness. He called this process individuation, the lifelong task of becoming what you already are beneath conditioning. Not self-improvement, not self-optimization, integration. To individuate is to face the shadow without flinching, to dialogue with the unconscious rather than suppress it, to accept contradiction without fragmentation. It is not a straight path. It often looks like loss. You outgrow identities. You disappoint expectations. You stand alone more often. But slowly, something stabilizes inside you. Not certainty, but groundedness. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Most never claim that privilege. They outsource it. Jung believed modern humans were spiritually undernourished, not because they lacked religion, but because they lacked meaning that spoke to the soul. We drown in information. We starve for wisdom. We treat anxiety chemically, but not symbolically. We silence dreams, mock myth, and pathologize introspection, and then we wonder why emptiness spreads. Jung did not offer comfort. He offered responsibility, to listen inwardly, to wrestle with symbols, to take your inner life seriously. Because if you don't, something else will. Ideologies, crowds, addictions, false gods. Jung never promised salvation. What he offered was something rarer: a map, a warning, and an invitation to descend rather than escape, to confront rather than numb, to integrate rather than perform. He believed the soul does not want to be cured. It wants to be heard. And perhaps the most unsettling idea he left us with is this: what you avoid will shape your destiny. The unconscious does not forgive neglect, but it does reward courage. The question is not whether you have shadow, or a mask, or a myth living inside you. The question is, will you meet them consciously, or let them decide your life from the dark? If this video stayed with you, liking it helps it reach someone who needs it. Subscribing keeps these conversations going. And if you want to support this work more directly, the Patreon link is there, quietly waiting.